Alright everyone, get out your bug spray because in this week's Retro Recap I'm going to be taking a look at Millipede, released by Atari in 1982. Millipede was the sequel to the arcade hit Centipede and saw a Nintendo release by HAL in 1988. Alright, let's play Millipede, originally released by HAL in 1988 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I'm going to play the Game A mode of Millipede. Now in Millipede, you play as an archer that is shooting at a millipede and invading your little village or whatnot, coming through the mushrooms, and you have to shoot it apart and kill it before it reaches the bottom of the screen. You start out with 3 lives and gain an extra life every time you reach 20,000 points. Now you can kill the millipede in a variety of ways, either by shooting it apart by holding down the A button for rapid fire or tapping it individually for individual fire. You can also shoot DDT tanks up at the top, which will destroy large portions of the millipede. You have lots of other enemies that you have to destroy too, like gnats, inchworms, flies, and beetles. And you have a large portion of the bottom screen, which is all colored in gray, where you can move around freely to avoid all these other enemies. The spiders are probably the worst enemy that I always have the problem with, because they will come down and eat the poison mushrooms, so that helps, but they come at angles that are almost impossible to avoid, and their patterns are really erratic. And later on in the levels, you have like 3 or 4 of them on screen at one time, and they kind of overlap and hide behind each other, so they're your worst nightmare as far as this game goes. So now let's play the Game B part of Millipede. And this is basically the same thing, except it starts out much harder right off the bat. You don't start off with just 1 spider or a few enemies on screen. The speed is really amped up, and you have like 3 or 4 spiders right off the bat. But it does make getting a higher score a lot easier because you're scoring at a higher difficulty rate. Millipede is really challenging and is one of my personal all-time favorite arcade classics. I think it's somewhat overlooked by Centipede, though, and is often viewed as the overlooked younger brother to its bigger brother Centipede, but it's still a great game in my opinion. So if you're a big fan of retro arcade classics like Centipede, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Millipede for your NES. It won't set you back very much, and it's a great game.